From heated roads to DIY street sweepers and robots that seal potholes with AI, today we're going to fire up our pavers and hit the solar-powered highway as we cruise through some of the most incredible road technologies in the world. The idea of AI stealing jobs and putting people out of work is pretty scary. But if there's one job that nobody minds the robots taking, it's fixing potholes. In 2024, a UK-based company called Robotized made this a reality when they unveiled a pothole-filling AI robot called the Autonomous Road Repair System. The project encompasses two technologies, the ARRES-I and the ARRES-Prevent. The I is a specialized imaging system that scans the road and uses AI to identify any surface irregularities and potholes. This is attached to the Prevent, a self-driving vehicle that prowls the streets day and night, searching for holes and cracks. When its eye senses one, it automatically stops and seals it with a waterproof and durable filler that stops rain or frost from entering the holes and making them even bigger. Unlike human road workers, this blue-collar bot works around the clock. So although it looks like somebody's tried to draw a Cybertruck from memory, this thing is incredibly effective at keeping roads pothole-free. However, if you're worried about the upcoming robot wars and the idea of AI machines powered with crack filler cannons scares you, then fear not. The ARRES Prevent can be taken over and controlled with a remote control under full human guidance. Furthermore, the AARES-I scanner can be fitted to the back of any vehicle. So as regular buses and cars carry people to work, school, and Walmart, they can simultaneously scan the roads for wear and tear. If an ARRES-I on a regular vehicle spies any damage, it will automatically log it in a central database, which is given to the local government, so it can promptly be fixed by a human crew. Of course, the downside to everything becoming robotized and electric is that it gives you another thing to put on charge before you go to bed. I already forget to plug in my phone half the time, and I have to plug in my pothole robot too. Well, fortunately, one company is developing a new invention that could mean you never have to manually charge your e-vehicle ever again. Meet the team at Elon Road. And before you ask, no, this isn't another one of Musk's crazy ventures. Elon actually means electricity in Swedish, and Elon Road is a company that's working on a high-tech road that charges electric vehicles as they're driving. The system involves a conductive rail on the road that a pickup fitted under your vehicle slides on top of as you drive along. When the rail and pickup touch, your car is successfully plugged in and starts to charge up. And don't worry, the rail is only active when the pickup makes contact, which makes it totally safe to walk on. The pickup can be attached to any e-vehicle, and it's super effective, transferring up to 300 kilowatts of power per hour. Considering the average electric car battery holds between 40 and 60 kilowatts, the rail can fill most e-vehicles rapidly on a relatively short stretch of highway. And while you can't find this tech on every road just yet, as of 2025, these electric expressways have been implemented across multiple cities like Paris, Oslo, and Stockholm to great success. The company's aim is to reduce reliance on fossil fuels like gasoline, as well as extending the driving range of electric vehicles. But imagine if the Elon Road could power more than just your car. Something like, an entire town. In 2017, the Chinese government showed this was possible as they built a 0.6-mile solar highway in Jinhan. This smart road is comprised of a layer of concrete with transparent sections made out of a strong polyester resin. This sits above a set of solar-powered batteries that soak in energy from the sun through the resin and generate enough electricity to power the highway's lights, billboards, and 800 nearby homes. They also provide power to heaters that warm up the road and melt away ice that settles during winter. But the smart road's big brains go even further, as it contains embedded sensors that measure the flow of traffic, providing real-time congestion updates so drivers know whether the highway is busy or not. Eventually, China wants the road to charge electric vehicles as they drive along it, like the Elon Road. However, they want to achieve this with wireless charging technology, which doesn't exist yet for e-vehicles, and they're still figuring out how to make it a reality. The tech that the smart highway does have is pretty revolutionary, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem likely to take the world by storm just yet. This half-mile cost an estimated $6.5 million to build, so it would be far too expensive to build a full-size highway with this technology. That's a shame, because if you combine the highway with Elon Road's invention, you'd officially have the most high-tech road on Earth. But electric cars aren't the only divas who've had special roads built for them. Race cars often move at incredible speeds, so when they go around corners, they're at constant risk of losing friction with the track and rolling over. Lots of racetracks solve this by using banked turnings to keep the cars on track. And they're built and maintained with this insane curved contraption called a parabolic paver. Forget Max Verstappen. I'm tuning into the Grand Prix for Max Bogle and Strabag Construction, two companies who have collaborated to build curved tracks with these giant machines. The giant paver smoothly lays asphalt down at a pre-programmed angle, and then the mini rollers behind it are lowered down the slope on chains to ensure it's distributed evenly. Teamwork! Now, you may be thinking, racetrack paving is kinda niche, and are parabolic pavers even used enough to justify creating such huge, specialized equipment? Well, yes. For one, racetracks have to be maintained regularly and kept in pristine condition. I mean, if you thought hitting a pothole was bad on a regular road, imagine how catastrophic it would be when you're traveling at hundreds of miles per hour. Secondly, curved tracks aren't limited to racetracks. Lots of car manufacturers have test tracks that they use to assess their new vehicles, and they're often curved so that they can see just how fast their cars can go. Furthermore, in civilian road construction, there's this thing called super elevation, which describes a regular road that's slightly banked, so cars going at very high speeds don't start to tip and overbalance. As a result, these curved courses can be found on highways all over the world. And if you want to drive on a racetrack road built by a parabolic paver, you can just hit the interstate. But let's move from Goliath to David and check out a much smaller machine that's equally ingenious. If you're like me, you hate cleaning your house. But I think I'd enjoy sweeping my kitchen a little more if I had a contraption like this. See, in 2016, the world was captivated by videos of sanitation workers in China who'd used broomsticks to create this street cleaning demon. Instead of sweeping the streets by hand, these workers devised a machine made out of as many as 16 broomsticks attached to a spinning disc that was then pulled behind a tractor. These brooms are often handmade, created out of dried bamboo branches that are secured with cable ties or wire. But when they're hooked up to the spinning machine, they're 20 times more efficient than a sanitation worker sweeping alone, and can clean over 12 miles of road every day. Talk about working smarter, not harder. They were spotted in Shaogan City, Hubei Province, and Gansu Province. But when footage of the workers went viral, netizens did question how effective the vehicles were at all, and whether dust was just being sprayed into the air. Either way, they let the sanitation crew get their job done much faster, so the makeshift machines are genius in my book, and the workers clearly missed their true calling as engineers. Although when they're out at work, I probably wouldn't have my lunch al fresco. Man, my lunch is ruined, just like that time I tried to drink something while going over a speed bump. I understand that they're essential to manage speeding, but why should us law-abiders driving under the limit get bounced too? Well, allow me to introduce ActiBump, a new traffic calming measure that solely affects cars going over the limit with the help of a radar system powered by AI. If a car approaching the device is traveling below the limit, then the driver can pass on flat ground without feeling anything. But if it is speeding, then the ActiBump sinks into the ground, causing the driver to jolt and slow down. The jolt is pretty shallow, as a deeper ditch would severely damage speeding cars. Furthermore, the radar system uses AI to detect if the speeding vehicle belongs to the emergency services, so an ambulance, cop car, or fire truck doesn't get bumped while speeding towards an emergency. The invention has already proven to be extremely effective. It reduces speeding by up to 80% and improves traffic flow by preventing unnecessary braking and acceleration caused by people when they encounter ordinary speed bumps. Furthermore, the device also collects real-time data about traffic levels and air pollution on the road it's on, making it the smartest, most high-tech speed bump around. ActiBump, activate. Unfortunately, ActiBump can't stop every speeder out there, and over 1 million people tragically pass away every year during road accidents. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, 30 to 40% of all fatal crashes occur when vehicles run off the road or smash into the oncoming lane. So crash barriers are an important part of road safety. Modern guardrails have been engineered to make crashes as safe as possible by crumpling to absorb the impact. However, they still cause a lot of damage to vehicles, and lots of roads still use older rails with poor designs that can skewer cars like kebabs and cause more harm than good. Fortunately, one South Korean company called Evolution in Traffic Engineering, or ETI, think they have a solution with their new barrier that's comprised of rolling barrels. The barrels are made of a material that's called ethyl vinyl acetate, or EVA, which is durable, chemically resistant, and highly shock absorbent. They're then placed on sticks so they can spin, reducing the speed of any vehicle that collides with them. See, when a car hits an older crash barrier, the kinetic energy caused by the crash is absorbed in the front of the vehicle, which crumples. It protects the driver, but the car is usually a goner. In contrast, when a vehicle hits ETI's invention, the momentum is converted into rotational energy, which propels the car forward and protects both the driver and the car. Barriers shouldn't be too deflective, as the vehicle will ricochet straight off into oncoming traffic, which in turn could cause further collisions. However, the ETI barriers are designed to deflect cars at a shallow angle, which makes the vehicle more controllable after impact. Plus, its 3 feet of height reduces the risk of taller vehicles flying over the guardrail by bouncing them back to safety. Just like terrifying high-stakes bumper cars. These life-saving barrels aren't the only incredible use of plastic on our roads. And unfortunately, we're heading back to the irritating and dangerous world of potholes. That sounds like the worst amusement park ever. These suckers really are everywhere, and many civilians have taken to decorating them with art, such as tiles, figurines, and bright yellow goo, to force their local government to take notice and repair them. But unfortunately, it still takes a long time for most potholes to get fixed, which is why the team at Javeco Markings has tried to speed up the process by making it possible to fill them with good old-fashioned plastic. It's in our oceans, it's in our blood, and now it's in our roads thanks to chip fill, a material that eradicates cracks and potholes in just 20 minutes. See, these chip fill granules are made out of thermoplastic, which can melt into a liquid before rapidly cooling back into a strong, solid shape. So to fix a pothole, all you need to do is fill it with the granules, melt them with a blowtorch, and allow the liquid plastic to fill the hole. As it cools, simply add glass grains so that the new plastic surface isn't too smooth for cars to drive on without skidding, and voila, your road is repaired. A pothole fixed with chip fill is ready for traffic after 20 minutes. But the material isn't just efficient, it's also extremely durable. We know that plastic takes a long time to degrade, and a chip fill repair is no different, lasting for up to 7 years. This makes the product incredibly useful, and the one downside is that it only works on cracks and smaller holes with a diameter of just 6 to 7.8 inches. Don't fear though, if a hole has been left unfixed for a long time and grown larger and deeper, chip fill can still treat the problem with a helping hand from its big brother, Agrafill. This is another product by Gaveco that's an aggregate, which is essentially just a mixture of crushed stone like gravel. If you pour the Agrafill and chip fill into a pothole together and heat it up like before, the thermoplastic will cool and bind the Agrafill together, creating a much stronger filler that can treat holes for up to 10 square feet. Once again, the road will be ready for action in just 20 minutes. So for pothole patching, you're not going to get a solution as chip and cheer fill as this. But while chip fill uses heat to heal roads, hot weather can totally destroy them too. In the summer, black asphalt can reach temperatures 40 to 60 degrees hotter than the air. And on scorchers, the surface can get so hot that the asphalt melts. However, the construction company Eurovia has been able to solve this problem by cooling asphalt down in a process that involves harnessing the power of the sun. At first glance, their power road looks like a Mario Kart track, but it's actually a network of recyclable pipes built under roads, filled with a specialized heat transfer fluid. Essentially, in the summer, the sun heats the road, and that heat is absorbed by the fluid in the pipes, rapidly cooling the surface down. And then this heated fluid is taken to a space filled with vertical geothermal probes that can store the thermal energy for months. This is where it stays until winter mode, when a heat pump transfers the liquid where heat is needed: homes, swimming pools, and other industrial facilities in the surrounding area. They even use it to reheat the road like last night's dinner, to melt away any snow and ice that might have settled on the asphalt. So the power road can use those hot summer streets to help people freezing in their homes months later while keeping roads clear. Forget solar panels, this is an ingenious way of collecting renewable heat energy. The concept of heated roads is clearly a hot topic, because Eurovia and the Chinese government weren't the first people to come up with the idea. In 2003, the city of Reykjavik, Iceland, put a similar concept into action with the installation of heated streets and sidewalks to melt away snow and ice. And like the power road, these roasty streets are fueled with renewable energy. See, 90% of houses in Iceland are heated geothermally, using groundwater that's taken from nearby volcanoes and pumped directly into homes. This water can reach up to 570 degrees, and once the house is heated and the water cools down to around 90 degrees, excess water is pumped directly into tubes underneath the streets and sidewalks to keep them nice and warm. Reykjavik typically sees 40 to 60 days of snow cover a year, so this tech was a huge success, and not just with the locals. Sightseers across the globe flock to see this geothermal wonder in action, turning it into a tourist hotspot. Outdoor heated floors, man, the future really is bright and warm. As we all know, renewable energy doesn't have a whole lot of downsides. It's better for the environment, cheaper, and infinite. But unfortunately, the main disadvantage it does have is a pretty crucial one. Weather is hella unpredictable. A cloudy day spells trouble for solar power. A windless day means turbines don't move, and periods of drought render hydropower useless. But one thing that is predictable is traffic, and one ingenious startup from Turkey found a way to solve the renewable energy problem by harnessing busy roads and using highways as a near-permanent source of wind. See, in 2016, civil engineer student Kerem Deveci noticed that the emergency exit covers of the bus he was riding kept flapping open due to wind created by cars passing in the opposite lane. This was annoying, but it got him thinking, could this be used as a source of power? He went back to his bedroom and created the first prototype of a turbine that's powered by wind generated from moving vehicles. He named it Enlil, after the ancient Mesopotamian god of wind. And once he graduated, he founded his own firm, Deveci Tech, and collaborated with Istanbul Technical University to bring it to life. The Enlil can produce 1 kilowatt of energy an hour, which is pretty measly. But with the addition of a solar panel on top, it can generate enough electricity to power 2 whole households per day. So, if you could line hundreds of the turbines along a busy highway, they'd be able to provide a serious amount of power. Furthermore, each turbine also collects information and data about the temperature, humidity, carbon footprint, and earthquake activity around the road. This thing's so smart, I bet it could do my math homework for me. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. The project is so ingenious that it actually won the Mercedes-Benz Turkish startup competition in 2018 before the Enlil even entered its development phase. The judges must have been pretty blown away. Get it? All these fancy schmancy gadgets are pretty cool, but how are roads actually made? Well, let's start with one of the most satisfying methods of construction, stone paving. Commonly found on really old roads, sidewalks, and patios, paving is a durable and versatile form of landscaping that involves placing lots of individual stones down in a set pattern. Unlike its cousin asphalt, paving is hardy and doesn't need constant maintenance. But the construction process is much more difficult, and placing each slab down like a big stony jigsaw is time-consuming. Well, unless you have a machine like the S19 PaveJet by Optimus. He's 7 feet tall, can lift 1,500 pounds, and enjoys long walks on the beach. And ladies, he's not just a looker, he also works like a machine. The S19 can pick up 36 paving stones at a time, then lay them down in a preset pattern, allowing him to place just over 11,000 square feet of paving in a single day. For comparison, a single human can lay just 270 square feet a day. So your ex is no match for this machine. The S19 is definitely the guy your girlfriend tells you not to worry about. But if he's not your type, then meet his friend, the Hunklinger PO1-3. Emphasis on hunk. The PO1-3 is a paving attachment that can be attached to an excavator or crane. Once fitted, it has a lifting capacity of 880 pounds, and it's operated by an automatic control system. This allows you to pre-program the specifications of the path you're creating, and the machine will build it automatically, allowing you to just kick back and relax. As for his type, well, he's not choosy. Square, rectangle, whatever these are, he likes pavers of every shape and size. Out of the 2 bad boys of the construction industry, one of them is bound to be your new paverite. But you creeps need to curb your enthusiasm. After all, these are just machines. And speaking of curbs, let's check out the equipment that makes them. Curb machines range from modest to massive, and they extrude concrete in an incredibly satisfying way. Just check out the Gomaco CC1200E. Like sausage making, but less gross. These machines work by pushing concrete or asphalt through a specialized curb-shaped mold, which smoothly lays it down in one continuous motion. But they aren't just eye candy, they're also incredibly efficient. The CC1200E is totally battery-powered, but it's still able to lay down 40 feet of curb a minute, making it a total speed demon. Its curbs reach a relatively modest maximum height of only 3.7 feet, but if you're wanting something a little bigger, Power Curbers has you covered with their 5700C curb and gutter machine. With great height comes great responsibility, and the 5700C uses its size to extrude curbs up to 5 feet tall, or even well-protected bike lanes. But they're kind of an eyesore, and I think cyclists deserve something prettier. These wavy barriers were created in 2019 as a collaboration between LA's Department of Transportation, the designer firm Gensler, and the bike manufacturer Ceres. They created a new pop-up divider called the Wave Delineator, which, like me, is as good-looking as it is functional. These beautiful barriers are fully collapsible and lightweight, making them incredibly easy to transport and install. They can be set up by a single person in a few minutes. But the lightweight design isn't flimsy, as they're made of a material called ABS plastic, which is incredibly impact-resistant and snaps back into place after collisions. These qualities give the barriers dozens of different uses outside of bike lanes, and they've also been used to direct foot traffic, mark race courses, and during the pandemic, they helped to cordon off outdoor spaces for businesses. The humble traffic cone wishes it had this level of versatility, and that it looked this good while doing it. In fact, the Delineator's stylish white curves were specifically designed to create feelings of calmness, reducing road rage and improving famously hostile cyclist-to-driver relations. It checks out that this came from a city of green juice and hot yoga. Do you just feel like so zen? The Delineator's one downside is that it's only able to withstand minor collisions, so a car traveling at a high enough speed could drive right through it. However, if you need a beefier barrier, well, you're in luck, because we can stop the largest collisions imaginable with the help of a TMA. This stands for a truck-mounted attenuator, which is essentially just a wordy term for a crash cushion on the back of a safety vehicle. These TMAs are used as a last line of defense between oncoming traffic and people working on highways. This will typically be a construction crew performing roadworks, but they've also been used to protect landscapers, tow truck operators, and even firefighters. If a distracted driver misses the markers, cones, and lights warning them about the crew, the TMA ensures that the workers won't actually get hit. They even protect the offending driver, too, by absorbing the force of the impact and drastically reducing the chances of injury. Win-win! While TMAs have been around since the mid-1900s, the most impressive one on the market is arguably the Scorpion 2, created by Trafix Devices in 2018. It was the first TMA to be given a MASH certification, which is a series of rigorous tests given to stationary crash barriers to ensure that they can withstand heavy impacts. MASH is the industry standard in the US, and they determined that the Scorpion can safely stop cars traveling at up to 63 miles per hour. It's also one of the only crash attenuators to have side impact defenses, which absorb the energy if a car hits the barrier at an angle, giving workers a wider range of protection. But what makes the Scorpion so good at absorbing force? Well, its modular, tiered design crushes in progressive stages, which slows the car down more gradually and reduces the force of impact. Plus, it's made of the sturdiest of materials, as the crash cushioners are filled with space-grade aluminum built in a honeycomb structure, which is known as one of the strongest structures in nature. Man, these crash cars definitely don't take after their Scorpion namesake. Instead of using their tails to sting, they use them to save. This allows road crews like this one to work without worrying about incoming cars, safe in the knowledge that they're completely protected by... wait a minute, what are those guys doing with those tires? Well, 94% of roads in America are made of asphalt, which is a mixture of aggregate bound together with a sticky liquid called bitumen. In most cases, this is laid on a layer of loose aggregate, which is cheap and quick to place down. But it isn't particularly stable, and when it gets wet in the rain, it weakens and slowly spreads out under the asphalt, resulting in potholes and cracks. In 2005, a civil engineer called Samuel Bonasso decided to create something a little more long-lasting with the invention of mechanical concrete, a building process that's neither mechanical nor concrete and is actually made of tires. That probably sounds confusing, but let me explain. The process involves laying several tires down and filling them with the aggregate instead, before finally paving over them with asphalt as usual. The tires act like containers around the stone, which dramatically improves the road's load-supporting capacity by stopping the aggregate from spreading over time. This makes it 3 times more durable than loose gravel, and the invention got its name because it mimics how real concrete works, as a mixture of aggregates that are bound together by cement. Bonasso's invention achieves the same effect with physics, and the resulting roads are so secure that they reduce maintenance costs by 75%. They're also good for the environment, as 1.5 billion tires go to a landfill every year, and this offers a way to recycle some of them. In 2016, the invention even won a sustainability prize from the American Society of Civil Engineering, showing that, surprisingly, the solution to perfect sustainable street construction was to build roads out of tires. Of course, even roads made out of mechanical concrete wear down over time, and eventually they'll need to be replaced. This will often require the asphalt to be completely removed and relaid, which is a lengthy process. But if you're feeling lazy, you can just build a new road right on top of the old one with a process called chip seal paving. First, a layer of tar is applied over the top of the existing road. Then that's quickly topped with a layer of aggregate chips, which are compacted into the ground with a roller machine. And just like that, your road is as good as new. Not only is this cheaper and more practical than a full resurfacing, but the rugged surface also provides excellent traction for vehicles. Plus, chip seal paving also increases the durability of pre-existing asphalt under the new aggregate by sealing the cracks in the original road. This prevents water from infiltrating and causing bigger cracks, which gives the new road a stable foundation. The only drawbacks come from the fact that lots of the aggregate doesn't get fully crushed into the tar, and it's left sitting on the surface. Traffic can then cause it to bounce into the air, resulting in cracked windshields and chipped paint. This also results in a rougher surface that wears down tires faster and can cause serious injuries if a cyclist or biker gets into a crash. Still, the process is a quick and cheap way to fix a road and extend its lifespan. But do you know what takes years off mine? Trying to find a darn parking spot in the morning. So, I went and bought myself my very own space right outside my office. But some jerkwad keeps parking in it. Come on, man, the sign is right there. Fortunately, I found a solution to this problem with Parkilo's Automatic Barrier, a device which you can install anywhere and control entirely from your phone. Try taking my spot now, dipstick. Installation takes less than 20 minutes, and then it's as simple as raising or lowering the barrier using the Parklio app, whenever you want to be let in or out of your spot. You can even share virtual keys with other people on the app if they need to access your car. The best part? It's totally solar powered, so you don't have to worry about getting literally gate-kept out of your own driveway because it's run out of charge. What's more, the Parklio is crazy durable, being able to withstand temperatures from -4 degrees to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and getting run over by a truck. I wonder if that parking spot thief from earlier can also withstand getting run over. Maybe I'll have to check. Well, we've reached the end of our journey. Which piece of incredible road tech was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below, and thanks for watching.